Right after saving my girlfriend's first love, I broke up with her, and in anger she held a wedding with him. After learning that I voluntarily donated bone marrow to save her first love, who wasn't expected to live long, my CEO girlfriend, who had been living in Tibet for 5 years praying for his well-being, came back for the first time to ask what compensation I wanted. Everyone thought I would take this opportunity to marry her and secure our relationship, but instead I coldly broke up with her to her face. Suddenly, everyone assumed I was playing hard to get. In her anger, my girlfriend turned around and arranged a wedding with her first love, even forcing me to be his best man, trying to make me admit my mistake. But what she doesn't know is that after donating bone marrow, I was in a car accident and lost my memory. The person standing in front of her now is no longer the lovesick fool willing to be her tool, but the carefree, wealthy young master from 6 years ago. At the wedding, with more than a dozen bodyguards each holding a bucket of paint, at my command, the newlyweds instantly became drenched. Looking at the embarrassed couple, I smirked and said, "Wedding gift, do you like it?" Zhou Rongrong wiped some paint off her face, instantly raising her hand, but was caught by butler Uncle Li. "Miss Zhou, the doctor said that the young master would have temporary amnesia after his car accident. His actions just now were a misunderstanding. Don't be impulsive," the butler explained to Zhou Rongrong. The butler was an old servant of my family. My mother once saved his wife's life, and he vowed to follow the Shun family for life, even if the Shun family fell on hard times. After I woke up, it was the butler who had been taking care of me, while Zhou Rongrong hadn't shown up even once. The butler thought my breakup was an impulsive action and kept speaking on my behalf. "Miss Zhou, you and the young master have been together for so many years. Don't you know his temperament by now?" Hearing this, Zhou Rongrong frowned and glanced at me without saying a word. After I woke up, I discovered that I had amnesia. It was the butler who told me that it was a side effect caused by the car accident. Thinking back to 2 days ago in the hospital room, seeing Rongrong Zhou's extremely cold attitude toward me and her indifferent expression regarding the doctor's instructions, I realized her heart wasn't with me at all. Before the doctor could even explain my medical condition and care instructions to her, she hurriedly signed the papers and left. I thought she had some urgent matter to handle. After all, being a successful career woman isn't easy. Until the butler told me that Rongrong Zhou took the elevator directly to the top floor VIP ward, and once she went in, she stayed there the entire day. I assumed someone important from her family was staying there, but the butler told me it was my girlfriend's first love, the person I had donated bone marrow to. That's when I realized that the worried expression she showed in the hospital room wasn't for me, but for the person in the top floor ward. With someone like this, I really have no reason to keep her by my side. Rongrong Zhou furiously exclaimed. "Do you think I'm stupid? Is he joking like this?" His first love immediately began crying, pretending to be physically weak as he collapsed to the ground. "I know young Master Shun has shown me kindness. This life was given to me by young Master Shun, and I'm willing to serve him like an ox or horse to repay him. But you can't ruin the wedding that Miss Rongrong prepared for me." Looking at Qinjiang's fake display of weakness made me feel nauseous. How could Zhou Rongrong ever be interested in such a dramatically pretentious man? When did her taste become so poor? The butler advised me quietly from beside me. "Young master, don't be impulsive anymore. What if Miss Zhou really breaks up with you?" I looked up at the two undignified people in front of me. Although I had lost 6 years of memories, I wasn't blind. How could I not see the contempt for me in Zhou Rongrong's eyes? I said disdainfully to both of them, "Uncle Li, what were you thinking? Would I ever be interested in someone like this?" The butler instinctively said, "Young master, weren't you madly in love with Miss Zhou before? You even had a falling out with your family because of her and vowed never to return to the Shin family." I fell silent upon hearing this. Zhou Rongrong did indeed have a cool, elegant appearance that matched my ideal type, but seeing how blind she was now, unable to recognize a low-level male green tea like Qin Jiang, how could I possibly be interested in such a simple-minded fool? Seeing my prolonged silence, Zhou Rongrong immediately called security. "Enough talk. Hurry up and throw them out." The butler stood in front of me, saying loudly, "Miss Zhou, how dare you treat the young master this way? Can you really disregard all these years of his wholehearted devotion to you?" Zhou Rongrong carefully helped Qin Jiang up, looking at me with contempt. If it weren't for his deliberate scheme 6 years ago, how would Ah Jiang have ended up bedridden for 6 years? Don't think that donating bone marrow can make up for all the suffering Ah Jiang has endured all these years. I couldn't understand what she was saying and asked with confusion, "What did I do?" Upon hearing this, Zhou Rongrong's expression was disdainful. "Shinzhou, why are you pretending? I originally wanted to save some face for your Shin family and avoid embarrassing you in public, but now it seems you won't admit defeat until you see your own coffin." After Zhou Rongrong finished speaking, she signaled her assistant to come forward and turn on the projector. The sudden appearance of the image made my heart skip a beat, because the perso, and in it was me. The Shun Zhou in the video said, "Take this to Qin Jiang and tell him it's my birthday gift to him." After that, a person walked over, accepted the gift box, and hesitantly said, "Young master, what if something happens to Mr. Qin? I could go to prison." Shin Zhou sneered, "It won't happen. He'll only die from his blood disease, with no direct connection to you." The video ended here, freezing on Shun Zhou's smug expression. Zhou Rongrong angrily pointed at me. "If it weren't for you, Jiang would never have suffered this undeserved calamity." I was still searching my brain for any memory of this, only to find I couldn't recall it at all. The butler frowned and said, "Miss Zhou, please mind your words. This video was already clarified as artificially synthesized. The young master did indeed give Mr. Qin a gift back then, but it was absolutely not the box shown in the video." Zhou Rongrong flew into a rage, ordering the butler to shut up. "You're nothing but a watchdog for the Shin family. You have no right to speak here." The butler wanted to defend himself, but I shook my head at him. After just a few hours together, I had said so much, yet Zhou Rongrong only believed Qin Jiang. She treated my words as mere background noise, while deeply believing every single word from Qin Jiang, even quickly shifting all the blame onto me. Throughout the whole process, I didn't seem like her male friend at all, while Qin Jiang appeared more so. Seeing that I remained silent, Zhou Rongrong thought I felt guilty, and her tone became even more triumphant. "Shin Zhou, even if you gave your bone marrow to Jiang, you still owe him a sincere apology. Now, in front of all these guests, kneel down and apologize to Jiang, and I'll let go of what you just said." Qin Jiang pretended to be reluctant, deliberately saying to Zhou Rongrong, "Sister Rongrong, how could young master Shin apologize to me? He's still my lifesaver. It's all my fault that my clothes got dirty. Otherwise, I should be the one kneeling down to apologize to young master Shin." Zhou Rongrong stopped Qin Jiang's gesture, comforting him by saying, "This is what he owes you. Later, I'll make him compensate you with an even better custom-made suit, okay?" After Zhou Rongrong finished speaking, she turned to look at me and frowned. "If you want me to forgive you, it's not impossible. You should kneel down and apologize to Jiang right now." Until now, Zhou Rongrong still thought I was that lapdog who would do everything according to her wishes. Unfortunately, I had truly lost my memory. I shook my head and directly threw the betrothal letter from years ago to Zhou Rongrong, coldly saying, "You want me to apologize to him? Keep dreaming." Zhou Rongrong flew into a rage, glaring at me with wide eyes, picking up the betrothal letter from the ground and tearing it to shreds. It wasn't until Qin Jiang held her hand that he realized she had lost control. She gritted her teeth and said, "Shin Zhou, don't think that just because the Shun family helped my Zhou family, and you have the title of my fiancé, you can assume I won't dare to break things off with you." I looked toward the butler in confusion, not understanding what Zhou Rongrong meant. The butler explained quietly, "Years ago, when the Zhou family faced bankruptcy, Mrs. Zhou learned of this and had complications with her pregnancy. It was thanks to Madam's help that Mrs. Zhou was able to safely deliver. Before I could sort things out, Qin Jiang took the opportunity to feign self-reproach again. Young Master Shun, I know you're dissatisfied, but Sister Rongrong truly only has a sibling-like relationship with me. During her 5 years in Tibet, she prayed day and night for my safety, which was also out of a sister's love for her brother. The person in her heart has always been you. I don't understand why you would treat me like this in public." Qin Jiang deliberately put on a show of showing off, which made me want to vomit. It was bad enough that Zhou Rongrong couldn't see through it, but did he think I couldn't either? Just as I was about to speak, the butler stopped me again and whispered, "Young master, please bear with it. It's just a wedding ceremony, and they haven't gotten the marriage certificate yet. If you break things off with Miss Zhou, you really won't have anywhere to go." I was stunned. What nonsense was the butler talking about? My family's Shin business empire had countless assets. How could I, the great young master of the Shin family, have nowhere to live? A moment later, the butler's words pulled me back to reality. Meeting my confused gaze, he hesitated before saying, "The Shin family went bankrupt long ago. You were the one who gave the last inheritance to Miss Zhou. If we fall out with Miss Zhou now, we truly will have nowhere to go." Hearing the butler's words, I suddenly felt foolishly ridiculous, pathetically stupid. To think I gave up my inheritance for someone like her. Despite all I had invested in her, she turned around and held a wedding with her first love, with absolutely no regard for me, her fiancé. With a cold face, I looked at Zhou Rongrong and declared emphatically, "Today, in front of all these people, I voluntarily break off our engagement. From now on, we'll have nothing to do with each other." After saying this, I turned and left the wedding venue. I took the butler with me, planning to go out for a big meal to celebrate my liberation from misery and getting back to being myself. Under my approving gaze, the butler specially booked my favorite restaurant and thoughtfully invited my brother, whom I hadn't seen for many years. Back then, I had insisted on breaking ties with him because of Zhou Rongrong. In a fit of anger, I deleted all his contact information, never expecting that the butler had actual. Why kept his phone number for me? I nervously pressed the call button until a languid male voice came through from the other end. Who is this? Before I could speak, a roar came from the other side. Shinzhou, don't think I don't know it's you, you simp. How dare you break ties with me over someone as insignificant as Zhou Rongrong? Now you finally realize that I was looking out for you back then, don't you? Hearing the familiar voice, my heart softened. The brother who truly cared about me had been shut out by me all this time. I immediately sent him an address, asking him to come out for drinks tonight. After I told him about the situation with Zhou Rongrong, he was silent for a moment, then tentatively asked, "Did you really break up with Zhou Rongrong? Weren't you deeply in love with her, saying you couldn't live without her?" Perhaps the old Shinzhou was like that, but now I absolutely won't fall into the same trap again. Although I've lost a few years of memories, I'm now completely clear-headed. Zhou Rongrong never had me in her heart. All these years, it was just my one-sided affection. I've decided to start anew, to stop being a love-struck fool. I don't want a fiancé who has no sense of boundaries. Seeing my silence, he thought I was lying about the breakup again, so he immediately took my phone and called Zhou Rongrong. My friend dialed the number and placed the phone in the center of the table. The screen went dark without any answer from the other end. The phone rang for a long time. I found it increasingly irritating to watch, so I flipped the phone face down on the table. Seeing how annoyed I was, my friend teased, "If you can't bear to let her go, why break up with her? Why not just marry her and be done with it?" I glanced at my friend, downed half a glass of red wine in one gulp, and said seriously, "It's real this time. She's already torn up the engagement letter. Now I'm just waiting for her to return the jade pendant my family gave her. After that, we'll go our separate ways. She can marry whoever she wants. It has nothing to do with me anymore." Just as I finished speaking, Zhou Rongrong's mocking voice came from my overturned phone. "Shinzhou, you think you're still the young master of the Shin family? Without me, you're nothing but worthless. You're breaking off the engagement just because you want money again, aren't you? I've already transferred money to your account. You'd better come back and apologize immediately." Zhou Rongrong's tone gradually grew colder. Listening to her words, my mind was in a tangle. Though I couldn't understand what she meant, it seemed like I had frequently asked her for money in the past, and she seemed quite dissatisfied about me asking her for money. Her company has reached its current position entirely because of my Shin family's help, yet now she shows such ingratitude. How could I have ever been attracted to someone like her? I ignored her and hung up the phone on the table, immediately silencing Zhou Rongrong's voice in the private room. My brother looked confused. "Are you short on money?" Remembering what the butler told me, I nodded and said, "The Shin family is bankrupt, so naturally, I'm short on money." He wanted to ask something else, but I didn't want to talk anymore. Thinking about Zhou Rongrong and Qin Jiang made me lose my appetite. I picked up the bottle, filled my glass, and said, "Come on, let's toast to my happy single life." Under the warm, dim lights, my glass was soon empty. My brother said, "It's so late, aren't you going home? Didn't you say Zhou Rongrong hates it when you drink?" Looking at the time showing 1 a.m., my thoughts gradually became fuzzy. In the past, Zhou Rongrong was very strict with me. She always said she hated men who drank alcohol, and if we got married in the future, I wouldn't be allowed to touch a single drop of alcohol. Hearing her words, I was deeply moved, believing I had truly found someone who genuinely cared for me. Looking back now, it was just to prevent me from running into her drinking with Qin Jiang outside. What a waste that I happily prepared a cup of honey water to help her sober up each time. Seeing my silence, my brother thought I was drunk and asked with a smile, "I'm asking what your plans are next." All these years, I wholeheartedly gave up everything from the Shin family for Zhou Rongrong. She disappeared to Tibet for 5 years for her first love, while I kept waiting for her, even missing the last moments with my mother. Thinking about this, I firmly decided, I'll revive the Shun family business and restore its former glory. Hearing this, my brother suddenly stood up and hugged me, tears welling up in his eyes. "Ajo, you've really changed. I support you. Whatever you need, I've got it all here." Just as I finished speaking, I received a WeChat message from Qin Jiang. Zhou Rongrong had lavished money on him, giving him a black card to spend freely at the mall, with a photo of the card attached. My brother immediately leaned over, and after seeing it, sighed heavily. "I've never seen her give you this black card. Is this from Zhou Rongrong's first love?" Seeing me nod, he awkwardly said, "No worries, brother will take you shopping." I originally didn't want to pay attention to Qin Jiang, but he kept harassing me with messages until I couldn't bear it anymore and reported his WeChat account. The world suddenly became quiet. The next afternoon, after waking up in the hotel, I received a call from the housekeeper. The housekeeper anxiously said, "Young master, we've found out the truth. There was never any written engagement between the Shun and Zhou families. Years ago, it was just polite talk between the elders when they were drunk. The betrothal document that Zhou Rongrong presented was fake. Hearing this, my heart and cold. Despite the scorching June heat, I felt a chill throughout my body. If I hadn't been cautious enough to ask the housekeeper to investigate, this matter might never have come to light. I immediately decided to go back and ask Zhou Rongrong what was going on. As soon as I pushed open the door, Zhou Rongrong was lying drunk in the living room, with bottles scattered everywhere, and the room filled with the strong smell of alcohol. She was curled up on the sofa, her face showing pain. Seeing me, her cold face revealed bitterness. Zhou, my stomach hurts. Hearing this, my eyes darkened with suspicion. My brother was right. She only called me Zhou when she needed something from me. Looking at her masterful acting, my heart turned ice cold. All these years, I had been wholeheartedly devoted to her. How could she use a fake engagement document to deceive me? My mother had even saved her life before, yet for her own benefit, she disregarded all these years of kindness from my family and set a trap to harm me. I ignored her, leaving her curled up on the sofa. I picked up a glass of water from the dining table and poured it directly onto her face. The room temperature ice water failed to wake her up and instead ignited her anger. She became furious. Shinzhou, what are you doing now? I coldly replied to her. Helping you clear your mind. She harshly wiped her face, her complexion turning ashen. Haven't I already sent you the money? Can you stop making a scene? Can't you see I have a stomachache? Quickly brew some medicine for me. I don't want pain relievers. I want that medicinal soup you begged from others before. That works more effectively. Previously, seeing her in pain, unable to bear witnessing her suffering from chronic illness, I specially sought out a good prescription specifically to treat her stomach problems. Yet not only did she not thank me, she even asked me to get another appetizing recipe for Qinjiang. I ignored her and walked past her directly upstairs to pack my things. She struggled to get up, and when unable to speak further, grabbed an empty bottle from the floor and smashed it against the wall, weakly saying, I told you to brew medicine. Where are you going? Zhou Rongrong thought I was still in a bad mood. She said patiently, Stop making a fuss. I'm not in the mood to argue with you right now. Please make the medicine for me first, and I'll give you some money later, okay? I threw the expensive watch she had given me onto the floor and said coldly, If your stomach hurts, go to the hospital. If you want medicine, ask Qinjiang to make it for you. She reflexively replied, Hospital medicine doesn't work, and Ah Zhang's health is poor. How could he do these chores? After she realized what she'd said, she quickly changed her tone. Ah Zhou, I got sick because I stayed up all night waiting for you. Hurry up and make me the medi. Sina, I sneered at her words. If it weren't for the WeChat message from Qinjiang yesterday, I wouldn't have known that she got sick because she hadn't eaten or drunk anything all night while taking care of Qinjiang. Now she was changing her story in just a few words, saying it was for me. Did she really think I was that stupid? She raged. Shinzhou, your temper tantrums should have limits. Don't think I'll tolerate you forever. After she finished speaking, her face turned pale white. Frowning, she continued, I only asked you to apologize to Ah Jiang. I'm doing this for your own good. If you won't listen, fine, but you're going to break off our engagement despite the marriage agreement between our families. Hearing this, I threw her belongings onto the ground and coldly exposed her hypocritical face. Zhou Rongrong, you have the nerve to bring up our engagement now? You came to my family with a fake betrothal letter and swindled so much money from the Shin family. Now, this house is under my name, and since we have no engagement relationship, get out of my house immediately. She was stunned by my words and asked in surprise, How did you find out about the engagement? After a pause, her eyes showed panic as she anxiously said, Don't my feelings for you all these years mean more than a piece of paper? For all these years, she had been extremely cold toward me. The year before, to take care of Qinjiang, she deliberately moved out to care for him personally. For the 5 years after that, she went alone to Tibet to pray for his well-being. The butler said that even when I had an accident and needed surgery, when they called her to sign the documents, she hung up on my call for help without saying a word. Now, she still dares to claim that she has feelings for me all these years. Get out of here right now, I shouted, pointing at the door. Seeing how resolute I was, she angrily called her assistant. Half an hour later, her assistant came over to pack her things, just about to leave. I stopped her with a shout. Wait. She thought I regretted my decision and sneered coldly. Now you realize your mistake? It's too late. Even if you kneel down and beg me now, I won't stay in this house anymore. I gave a cold laugh, casually throwing the old IOU in her face, saying calmly, You think you can just leave like this? Back then, you took and ate from my Shin family. Shouldn't you clear this debt first? According to the butler, Zhou Rongrong was too proud back then, and having to come kneel and beg the Shin family for help had already made her feel humiliated. Afterward, not wanting the Shin family to help because of their engagement, she directly signed an IOU. Now, thanks to this IOU, Otherwise, I would have found it really difficult to make her return what belongs to the Shin family. Zhou Rongrong thought I was joking, sneering. Shinzhou, you're staging so many acts just to get money from me. After making such a big scene, how much do you want this time? Before I could speak, she waved her hand, and her assistant threw a card at me, which fluttered lightly to the ground in front of me. It was that black card, the one Qin Jiang had shown off to me. Zhou Rongrong took a sip of water handed by her assistant and said disdainfully, "Is this all you're capable of? You're really a disgrace to the Shin family. If it weren't for me, could you maintain the luxurious lifestyle from before the Shin family went bankrupt? It's already generous that I haven't made you go out begging." Even though I had lost my memory and couldn't remember what had happened over these years, I would never reach out to her for money or live by her mood swings. Even if my Shin family went bankrupt, I would still live comfortably without worries. For Zhou Rongrong to say such things to my face, she's not afraid of being struck by lightning. When she saw me pick up the black card from the ground, she immediately took out her phone, pointed it at me, grabbed my hand, and said with a smile, "Shinzhou, if you kneel down right now and beg me like a dog, I'll put everything back and forget about what you just did." I took her black card and swiped it through the card reader, discovering it still worked and wasn't empty. At that moment, the butler arrived at the door with a group of people. Only after seeing their badges did Zhou Rongrong realize they were luxury item recovery staff. She frowned and asked, "Why did you schedule these people to come here?" No one answered her. The butler waved his hand, and they all went upstairs. Watching as the luxury items were brought down one by one, Zhou Rongrong continued to mock. "Shinzhou, are you really that desperate for money?" But when the butler brought out the first gift I had ever given her, her contemptuous face instantly crumbled. Her panic was visible to the naked eye. She snatched the gift box from the butler's hands and frowned. "Shinzhou, have you gone crazy? You dare to sell this too?" That was the first gift I ever gave to Zhou Rongrong. I spent a long time choosing a necklace that would satisfy her, and back then, she absolutely treasured it. To match this necklace, she even had 3 entire wardrobes of clothes custom-made. Somehow, at some point, she gradually lost interest in this necklace and buried it among her numerous pieces of jewelry, where it gathered dust year after year. I snatched it back and shoved it into the butler's hands, saying coldly, "This was a gift for my fiancé. Are you my fiancé?" Hearing this, she fell silent, watching helplessly as the necklace was tagged for sale. Zhou Rongrong's usual composure had completely vanished. Whether due to her illness or not, the corners of her eyes had turned red. "Ah Zhou, this was the first gift you ever gave me. Do you really want to sell it? Even though our marriage certificate was fake, I know you truly loved me. Can you really bear to watch someone else take away the proof of what was between us?" I coldly looked at her and said, "Stop getting in the way here. Leave my house immediately." Unexpectedly, Zhou Rongrong drove people out like a mad woman, clutching the box tightly in her hand. "Zhou Rongrong, who are you putting on this show for?" "I'm not Qin Jiang. I can't stand your poor acting skills," I said coldly. "I'm not Qin Jiang, and I have no interest in her deeply emotional persona." She thought I was selling the gifts I had given her because I needed money. She regained her composure and said calmly, "Shinzhou, if it's just about money, I'll give it to you. Just send all these things to my place." I ignored her and had the butler open the door to let everyone in, continuing the liquidation. Seeing this, she became angry, but when the pain reached her stomach, her expression changed, like a chameleon, her mouth half open, unable to utter a word. I picked up the necklace and said coldly, "Zhou Rongrong, if you kneel down and beg me, like a dog, I'll give these things to you." Zhou Rongrong heard the familiar words, remembering she had said the same to me before, and stared at me with wide eyes. "Shinzhou, there will be a time when you'll beg me," Zhou Rongrong said angrily. The usually high and mighty career woman was now making threats like an immature child, which was extremely laughable. Soon after, the living room became quiet again, after her emotions had mostly calmed down. "Shinzhou, are you really this heartless? You just think there's something between me and Ajiang, right? Fine, I'll do exactly what you suspect and move out to live with her." After saying this, my girlfriend took the gift box and left directly. She had forcibly snatched that gift box from the staff's hands and walked out without looking back. The housekeeper wanted to stop her, but I shook my head to prevent him. Even if she took this necklace, I wouldn't forgive her, and this relationship would never return to what it was before. After I returned from my follow-up hospital examination, Zhou Rongrong suddenly called, saying she would give me an explanation about our engagement in 3 days. "Hey Zhou, I admit what I said that day was a bit harsh, but I absolutely didn't mean anything else. I really don't have anything going on with Ajiang, and it's not what you think. We've been together for all these years. Don't you understand what kind of person I am yet? Give me a chance. After I explain everything clearly, you can do whatever you want." Zhou Rongrong's voice came through the receiver. I thought about it and decided we should indeed clear things up properly, if only to bring this absurd relationship to a conclusion. I agreed, and then hung up the phone. The hospital checkup results showed that there was blood stasis in my skull, obstructing the nerves, and it would take several months of observation to know the final outcome. The doctor told me to prepare myself mentally. I might recover suddenly, or I might remain this way for life. The butler comforted me. Young master, don't worry, you'll definitely get better. You still need to revive the Shin family. The butler's words reminded me that although I hadn't fully recovered, my condition didn't affect my ability to handle affairs at all. Since my engagement with Zhou Rongrong had come to an end, I should also face the mistakes I had made for her sake. Looking at the butler whose hair had started to turn white, I said seriously, Uncle Li, please help me contact the old associates from the Shin family. Of the few old associates who had worked with my father, some were sailing overseas, some were in remote provinces, but there was one in this city, and I decided to meet with her for a talk. When she heard that I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps, she was moved to tears, choking up as she said that it was only because of my father's kindness that her factory hadn't gone bankrupt, and all 500 people in the factory had relied on the Shun family to get through that time. Only then did I realize how much I had neglected my family over these years because of Zhou Rongrong, and how much time I had missed spending with my father. Even when my father said he wanted to teach me about business, I refused because I wanted to learn how to cook delicious meals for Zhou Rongrong. This old associate told me that back then, Zhou Rongrong's opportunity to study at the Shun group came only because I had knelt in the rain for a full day and night begging my father. But after Zhou Rongrong entered the group, not only did she fail to study diligently, but she also worked behind the scenes to buy people's loyalty. For this, I had a cold war with my father for half a year. Later, when my father became seriously ill, I still stubbornly refused to go home, missing my father's final moments. After leaving my father's old colleague, I went directly to the meeting place arranged with Zhou Rongrong. But as soon as I pushed open the door, I saw Zhou Rongrong holding 99 roses. When she saw me, her eyes brightened and she said, Zhou, I've been thinking these past few days, I've neglected you lately. I apologize to you. I glanced at the flowers and sat down far across from her. Seeing my displeased expression, she thought I didn't like the bouquet and pulled out a rose, offering it to me saying, Zhou, they didn't have the yellow roses you like. I'll get you a bouquet later, okay? I glanced at the flower. Yellow roses were Qin Zhang's favorite type, not mine. Don't you know I'm allergic to roses? I shook my head at the flower she held out. Hearing this, her hand froze in midair, then awkwardly lowered. Her lips quivered for a moment, her tone slightly apologetic. Zhou, when did you develop an allergy to roses? After speaking, she realized her mistake and quickly added, Zhou, I didn't mean to. I hurriedly interrupted her, not wanting to hear any irrelevant nonsense. What exactly do you want to say? Zhou Rongrong smacked her lips, picked up the wine glass beside her, filled it, and downed it in one gulp. Zhou, I'll find an opportunity to make up a wedding for you. Please stop making a fuss, she said, rubbing her forehead. Zhou Rongrong still thought I was just making a scene. She didn't notice how much I had changed, thinking I was merely jealous. She believed that by condescending to apologize to me, I would forgive her like before and continue revolving around her. You're overthinking it. I won't marry you. I haven't even settled accounts with you about using a fake marriage certificate to deceive me, yet you still have the audacity to dream of marrying me, I said coldly, looking at her. She paused for a moment. Zhou, I was forced into the situation with the marriage certificate, but my feelings for you are genuine. Haven't you seen that all these years? To atone for your sins, I went alone to Tibet to pray for Ajiang's recovery, staying for 5 years. I only wished for him to recover and not hate you. Doesn't all of this prove how I feel about you? Her sincere tone almost convinced me, but unfortunately, the 5 years she spent in Tibet were never for my sake. If she truly cared about me, she would have discovered that someone else was responsible for harming Xinjiang. But she never investigated, and even when the truth was right in front of her, she unhesitatingly took Xinjiang's side. I sneered. I'm no longer the Shunzhou I used to be. Don't use the same tactics on me that you use on Xinjiang. I find it disgusting. She became anxious. Zhou, in all our years together, you've transformed from a pampered heir who couldn't do anything to someone with exceptional culinary skills who handles workplace situations confidently. No one understands better than I do how much you've sacrificed for me. I don't believe I'm not in your heart. But how did she act? Taking my dedication for granted, then turning around to criticize me for not being understanding enough for Xinjiang's sake. She knew exactly how to stab people right in the heart. In this regard, I certainly couldn't match her. I looked up at her and said, Zhou Rongrong, the only reason you're humbling yourself to beg me now is because you're afraid I'll forcibly reclaim the favor my Shin family once did for your Zhou family, isn't it? Let me tell you, you must give me half of the company's shares. Also, I've lost my memory, so don't talk to me about the past. With that, I threw down my previous medical re-examination report, pointing at the date on it, and said, "Can you read? Do you see it clearly?" The rage on her face instantly died out. She held the report, looking in disbelief at the conclusion written on it. Memory loss. How could you suddenly lose your memory? A car accident? How could there be a car accident? She muttered to herself. I didn't want to deal with her anymore, watching her poor acting. Remember to quickly return the jade pendant my family gave you during our engagement. After speaking, just as I was about to leave, she called out to stop me. Ajo, how are you feeling now? She stepped forward and grabbed my wrist, her expression extremely anxious. This face. I had seen her show it to Qin Jiang at our wedding. I broke free. Please don't block my way. The grip on my wrist didn't loosen but tightened. I looked back to see her with reddened eyes, speaking in a somewhat aggrieved tone. Why didn't you tell me? I'm your most important person. You clearly said before that you would never hide anything from me. I truly couldn't stand to see her face anymore and just wanted to leave quickly. I forcefully shook her off and said, Zhou Rongrong, stop acting. I'm tired of watching this. Hearing this, she froze, her face once again showing an expression of disbelief. I took the opportunity to walk out of the private room. At the doorway, I heard her calling out behind me. Ajo, don't worry, I will definitely investigate your car accident thoroughly. I had shared Zhou Rongrong's suspicions about the car accident, but when the butler investigated, there were no conclusive results. If not for this car accident, I might never have seen Zhou Rongrong's true face, and might have just muddled through the rest of my life. All things considered, I should be grateful for this accident, whether it was intentional or not. After leaving the restaurant, I went straight home. A couple of days later, the butler informed me that Zhou Rongrong was indeed investigating my car accident. When I saw Zhou Rongrong's name on my phone screen, I ignored it and hung up. Looking at the white jade pendant on the table, I smiled and shook my head. Things between us should have ended long ago. Just as I was about to leave, Zhou Rongrong suddenly appeared at my doorstep. Holding up a voice recorder, she said in a haggard tone, Ajo, I found something. I didn't want to engage with her, but hearing this, I turned to look at her. She hesitated for a moment, then pressed play, and the voice that came out truly surprised me. It was Qin Jiang. Shen Zhou cannot live. He must die. Zhou Rongrong must be mine. Qin Jiang's. You must handle this matter well. Don't leave any evidence. When the time comes, I'll transfer the remaining payment to your card. I listened with a trembling heart, never expecting that after I kindly saved her life, she would repay my kindness with betrayal. Zhou Rongrong. This should be presented at the police station. She looked at me, suddenly falling silent, and after a long while Fina, LLY said, Zhou, I've looked into it. As long as both parties reach a settlement, it won't be bad for anyone. You're not in any trouble now, so why don't we just? I coldly replied. Let me forgive Qin Jiang? Zhou Rongrong, for him, you're certainly willing to put in the effort. For Qin Jiang's sake, she had already planned her exit strategy, but I will not forgive him. Zhou Rongrong, is this what you call for my own good? Asking me to forgive the main culprit who hurt me. What if I had died back then? Would you still be making excuses for him in front of the police? I shouted at Zhou Rongrong. She struggled to say, Ajo, Ajiang's health is poor, you know that. If he goes to prison, he'll die. How about this? I'll make him apologize to you, and we can put this matter behind us, okay? She took out her phone preparing to make a call. I slapped her hand away. The crisp sound seemed to wake her up. Zhou Rongrong, get out. I shouted, pointing at the door. A few days later, I heard from the housekeeper that Qin Jiang had been imprisoned, and it was Zhou Rongrong who personally reported him. She came to me with proof, asking for forgiveness. Ajo, I've sent him to prison now. Can't you forgive me? I coldly refused again. Seeing my determination, she took out a share transfer agreement from her bag. She handed it to me saying, Ajo, the shares you wanted, I'm giving them to you now. I took it and glanced at it. This share transfer document was indeed genuine. Thinking I had forgiven her, she took out a ring from her bag. Kneeling before me, she said emotionally, Ajo, will you marry me? I ignored her and turned to close the door. The ring in her hand was the first ring she had given me years ago. But later, when Qin Jiang took a liking to this ring, Zhou Rongrong forced me to take it off and give it to him. After he got it, he didn't cherish it at all, carelessly scratching it, causing the ring to be covered in marks. Zhou Rongrong, haven't you heard? Late-coming affection is cheaper than grass, I said, looking at the ring in her hand. As the door closed, a tear seemed to fall from the corner of her eye. Late that night, just as I was preparing to sleep, my phone on the table rang with a message notification. I opened WeChat and found a video sent by Zhou Rongrong's friend. In the video, she was drunk, slumped over a table, continuously mumbling words asking for forgiveness. Looking at her disheveled state, there wasn't a trace of her former image as the cold goddess. Just after watching the video, the person sent a voice message. Brother Shen, come out and take Sister Rongrong home. I refused. The other person said, aren't you two engaged? Sister Rongrong keeps calling for you. We can't handle her. Please come take over, Brother Shun. In the background of the voice message, Zhou Rongrong's drunken voice could be he. RD, along with others encouraging her to drink. I coldly refused. It's fake. We broke up long ago. After saying this, I immediately hung up the call. Soon after, the doorbell rang. Zhou Rongrong sat on the steps with a drunken face, still holding a bottle of alcohol. She mumbled, "Take me to Ajo's place. He's waiting for me to come home. If I'm any later, I'll get scolded." In the past, she would often come home drunk. Concerned that drinking too much would harm her health, I had insisted she be home by midnight every day. But later, she felt I was too controlling, making her lose face in front of her friends, and would return at 2 or 3 in the morning instead. I looked up at the time. It was exactly midnight. When she saw me, she stood up unsteadily, hastily hiding the bottle behind her back, her expression exactly like a child who had done something wrong. At that moment, my lost memories seemed to return, and her obedient demeanor felt familiar. After a long while, she quietly said, "Ajo, I wasn't late. Will you forgive me?" I didn't answer her, so she grabbed me directly, making me listen to what she had to say. "Ajo, have you forgotten? We still have 3 reconciliation coupons unused. I want to use one now, so you have to forgive me." Zhou Rongrong rummaged through her pocket and pulled out a crumpled card. That was from a game we played long ago, so long ago that I had almost forgotten about it. It was a stake in our Try Not to Laugh game. She could always win against me and had saved up 3 reconciliation coupons. We had agreed that no matter who was angry, as long as there was a reconciliation coupon, the other person must forgive them. But she forgot that the reconciliation coupons had an expiration date, and the one in her hand had long expired. I reminded her, "Zhou Rongrong, we've already broken up. Please stop looking for me." She froze, tears immediately spilling from her eyes. For the first time in many years, I saw her cry. Such a proud person normally, now sobbing uncontrollably like a child. "Ajo, did I do something wrong?" she asked between sobs. I didn't answer her, instead picking up my phone to call her assistant. Shortly after I sold my shares in the Shun Group, her company suddenly faced allegations of business irregularities and was about to face massive compensation claims. Complaints echoed throughout the company. Employees resigned one after another, while Zhou Rongrong was powerless to salvage the situation, sitting silently in her office. Finally, Zhou Rongrong, dressed in a white dress, knelt at my doorstep, just like 6 years ago when she recognized me as family. Everything had changed. I was no longer who I used to be. The housekeeper, returning from grocery shopping, saw Zhou Rongrong kneeling at the door and anxiously asked, "Miss, who are you looking for?" Zhou Rongrong looked up upon hearing this, suddenly realizing it was an unfamiliar face. Thinking it was a cook I had hired, she said flatly, "I'm waiting for Ajo." The grocery shopping lady frowned and said, "There's no one called Ajo here. I just moved in recently. Why don't you try asking at another house?" Zhou Rongrong's eyes became panicked. Thinking she might be confused, she checked the house number 3 times before finally accepting the fact that I had sold the house. She left dejectedly, turning back to look once more after walking a few steps, asking herself, "Ajo, have you really given up on me?" Looking at the whistling breeze outside the window, I suddenly felt at peace. I had already agreed to the housekeeper's suggestion to establish the Shun family's foundation overseas, where it would be more suitable to start anew. I also needed a new